It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Right now on Fox 5 News at 10.
A backyard swimming pool stolen. Now everyone is trying to figure it out.
What happened to the water?
Why police are baffled by this bizarre theft.
Plus, a new entry into the Hall of Shame tonight. And Arnold's got the goods.
I got this picture of you pulling your pants down.
He's getting to the bottom of it.
But first, she stopped to help an accident.
I don't do nothing.
Why police wound up arresting this Good Samaritan. And all the drama caught on camera. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ernie Gadastis.
I'm Rosanna Scotto. All new at 10. The woman who thought she was doing the right thing, but police felt differently when they put the cuffs around her wrists. Fox 5's Andre Hepkins right now in Roselle Park, New Jersey. Andre, what went on?
Rosanna and Ernie, it appears as if police wanted the Good Samaritan from Elizabeth to stay at the accident scene to serve as an interpreter because the victim only spoke Spanish. She agreed to do that for a while, but then she wanted to leave to pick up her daughter. And that's when this situation got strange. Wow, listen to that. This camera doesn't show you the source of that banging sound, but what is very clear is the voice of Monica Montoya screaming from this Roselle Park police squad car. The car's dash cam caught the moment this officer hauled away the visibly frightened 25-year-old in handcuffs.
It's my baby! Oh my God, what are you doing? Stop it! Stop it!
You could hear her terrified voice shout as you hear the officer yell stop. Montoya told investigators she'd been on her way to pick up her daughter from daycare when she stopped to help a woman who'd been hit by a van. But in Officer Harold Bruninger's police report, he described Montoya as being out of control. But everything we watched on this DVD suggested Montoya was pretty calm.
She's a parent, so she's very humble. She likes to, she works, you know, she's a good worker, you know, she's funny.
Her co-workers at this Dunkin' Donuts, which is right by the accident scene, which is right by the cop shop, say this whole situation is surprising. Meanwhile, police released this statement, quote, "We have an internal affairs investigation underway concerning her allegations, and at the conclusion of the investigation, the proper authorities will be informed of the outcome." All throughout the DVD, you hear her scream for her baby. You could also hear her say, "You know me." That's because these cops go to that Dunkin' Donuts up the street all the time. Nonetheless, she'll be in court on August 23rd, facing charges of obstruction of justice and resisting arrest. Rosanna.
Andre, thank you. We have a developing story right now. Frightening moments for a young girl in Brooklyn. She's 11 years old. She was walking out of the Coney Island Aquarium when a guy came from behind and put his hand over her mouth. She managed to free herself, and he ran away. Police are still looking for him. Ernie.
Well, the men accused in a deadly home invasion in Connecticut could end up facing the death penalty. 26-year-old Joshua Komisarjuski and 44-year-old Stephen Hayes are now facing capital murder charges. Police say that they broke into the Petit family's home in Cheshire early Monday morning. They held them hostage for hours, and they forced the woman to make a bank withdrawal. The home was set on fire. Only the father, Dr. William Petit, survived. Tonight, there is word the two suspects were involved in two separate burglaries the night before. Rosanna?
Police in Suffolk County are looking into a deadly car crash involving one of their own. They say an officer was trying to pull over a group of people on motorcycles who were speeding when he collided head-on with a Mustang. The driver of that Mustang, Gabriel Bergianti, was killed. He was 27 years old. The officer suffered only minor injuries.
All right, right now, Fox 5 takes you inside the steam explosion in the heart of Midtown. Last week, that giant plume of steam shut down part of the city, as you know. And now, Fox 5's Lisa Evers with a look at the giant hole that's still there tonight. Lisa.
Well, Ernie and Rosanna, we're getting a first look inside the huge crater left behind by that steam pipe explosion. Now, what you're about to see will give you an idea of just how big a repair job lies ahead. The hole takes up a large chunk of Lexington Avenue at 41st Street, steps away from Grand Central Station. Inside, a twisted mess of metal wiring, pipes, and debris that are actually critical components of the city's complex infrastructure. They're a combination of the very old and the very new.
A series of electric equipment, some gas equipment, some telephone equipment, and down below, so deep that we can't even see it yet, is our steam equipment that ruptured last Wednesday.
How far down?
We don't know, because there's so much equipment on top. we haven't been able to get down there yet.
The explosion on July 18th sent scorching towers of steam into the sky at least 30 stories high. One woman was killed and more than 40 people injured. 3 buildings remain closed. Now utility workers are at it 24/7, clocking in 12-hour shifts, trying to get rid of the damaged pipes and wires and make repairs. To do that, they have to make the crater bigger. That means taking steps not to jeopardize the foundation of surrounding buildings.
The shoring needs to be done to make safe access. It's a safety issue. We want to make sure whoever goes in that hole is safe. Now, while Con Ed makes these repairs, they'll have watchdogs from the insurance companies inspecting their every move. The insurance companies say they expect to get hit up for millions of dollars in claims. Ernie and Rosanna?
Thank you, Lisa. Tragedy at a camp upstate as a Boy Scout collapses and dies. Witnesses say Corey Snyder of Matawan, New Jersey, was walking with another boy when he collapsed at the camp in Forestburg in the Catskills. He was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead on arrival. Doctors say Corey had a pre-existing heart condition. He was only 13 years old.
And Skyfox HD also over the East Bronx, where city health officials want doctors to be on the lookout now for Legionnaires' disease. The request comes after an apparent outbreak of the disease. Health officials now believe that Legionnaires may be the cause for as many as 6 deaths in the past year. Our own Dr. Sapna Parikh explains what Legionnaires is.
It's a pneumonia that's caused by a bacteria that loves cool, moist places, so typically cooling towers or central air conditioning systems of big buildings.
And Dr. Sapna also wants to remind you that Legionnaires is not spread from person to person. Rosanna.
Ernie, one man pulled over his car to help someone out, or so he thought. Turns out he got robbed. Fox 5's Andrea Day with a story right now from Long Island. Andrea.
Well, Rosanna, that whole crazy story hasn't changed his feelings about helping people. In fact, he says he'd do it all again.
The car turned over 4 times. I didn't see the gentleman moving, and then I saw the car on fire.
So James Scarabino jumped out of his car and rushed over to the burning Corvette. But he had no idea the driver was a car thief in the middle of a high-speed police chase. And he never expected what would happen next.
As I was pulling him out of the car, he pushed me over and then ran across the highway.
The man he just rescued took off in his Chrysler, with James trying desperately to hang on to his car.
I was getting dragged. Obviously, I thought, what am I doing? This isn't worth it, and I let go.
And detectives say that's just part of the wild ride. It all began when the guy stole the Corvette off a street in Freeport and then had cops chasing him at top speeds on the LIE.
The vehicle slowed down, however, he did not stop.
It rammed into a Pontiac Grand Am and kept going, only to lose control and burst into flames. That's when James stepped in. Cops later found his car ditched at a gas station.
I hope the police catch him and, he gets what he deserves.
And cops are out searching for that man right now. Sources say they know his name and even where his family lives, and they are zeroing in. Ernie?
Andrea Day, thank you. Skyfox HD on the Upper West Side, where some residents are still out of their apartment building tonight. A retaining wall collapsed next door yesterday, exposing their foundation and forcing them from their homes. Well, blasting work at the construction site may have caused the collapse. All work there is stopped while the buildings department investigates.
A military review board says a National Guard pilot is to blame for that massive forest fire in South Jersey back in May. The report says the pilot who took off from the Warren Grove Gunnery Range dropped a flare too low in bone-dry conditions. The report also says that the pilot's error was part of a larger communications failure. More than 17,000 acres were charred and 4 homes destroyed.
Well, believe it or not, it can happen. A pool suddenly swiped from a yard. And imagine this, it was taken with 1,000 gallons of water inside. Who can lift that? Well, as Fox 5's Rob Malcolm reports, someone certainly did.
Well, guys, you should normally be able to see this pool from the front of the house, but what happened to this family has the neighbors talking and the cops scratching their heads. These shots from Skyfox HD show just how big a job it must have been on McBride Avenue.
The pool was this high. Was full of water.
Edgar Valdivia describes a family pool which looked like this, 4 feet high, 10 feet in diameter, stolen just after 1 in the morning.
My wife, she woke me up around 5, say, the pool is gone. I said, what do you mean the pool is gone? Come on, let me go, let me sleep. Hey, I'm not joking, the pool is gone.
Gone all right, along with the chlorinating system. And while the family doesn't think they'll get the pool back, everyone wants to know
What happened to the water? Everybody's baffled. We can't figure out what happened to the water.
You said it takes how long to drain the pool?
Yeah, about 4 to 5 hours, to drain it. I mean, and it's like slow unless you had a powerful pump that you pumped it out.
Police found no traces of water anywhere. And if you think crop circles are a mystery, this site has many around here, well, scratching their heads.
How they can lift it with all the water still in the pool.
They probably let the water out middle of the night. As soon as you seen it collapse, come back and get it, and that's about it. It's the only way you could take it. Where are you going to put 1,000 gallons of water?
No signs of water. So we were surprised how they took the water. And I didn't hear nothing.
And neither did Boo Boo. Now, Patterson police are no closer to solving this crime. And of course, as Valdivians want to know what happened to the 1,000 gallons of all that chlorinated water. Right now, neighbors are going to get together to try to get this family a new pool. In Patterson, New Jersey, Rob Malcolm, Fox 5 News.
Women who ride the rails say they're getting groped by perverts, and police say it goes unreported most of the time. A report released by the city reveals that 96% of women who are inappropriately touched by people who sit too close for comfort don't report the sexual harassment.
And when it's uptight, their hands are down below, they're touching your behind, and they try to pretend it's because someone's pushing them on you, but that's not the case.
I think it's horrible. I've been in New York all my life. It's happened to me when I was younger, and they have to do something about it.
And strap hangers may soon feel the pinch from higher subway fares. Is it a fair change? More on that story later in this newscast. An ethics panel is set to investigate the flight fight between Governor Elliot Spitzer and Republican State Senator leader Joe Bruno. It will try to determine if Governor Spitzer's aides used state police records to discredit Senator Bruno. Those records reportedly show Mr. Bruno using a state-owned aircraft to travel back and forth to fundraisers. But Attorney General Andrew Cuomo cleared him of any wrongdoing. Spitzer's aides were reassigned after the Attorney General released his report on Monday.
And a dangerous dip in the numbers on Wall Street today. It was one of the worst days for the Dow this year, and the Nasdaq got a beating as well. So what does it all mean? Fox 5's Dick Brennan reports.
After a wild ride in which at one point the Dow had dropped over 400 points, the market recovered somewhat in the last hour and closed down 311 points.
What's driving this?
Well, fears this week that have popped up since the Dow closed above 14,000, which was just a week ago, but it's fears that the housing slump is getting worse. It's fears that more mortgages are going to go bad.
It was the Dow's biggest drop since it plummeted 416 points on February 27th. Over the past month, the market has been making triple-digit swings.
Today's bleep is, I don't think it's a big concern. I'm not rushing. I'm not selling anything. I still believe in a long-term holding position, and I think things will look up.
The market is still up 8% this year, despite the war in Iraq and rising oil prices. If you had to say something to the average mom and pop, not going to touch their money investor who's sitting at home and saying, oh, geez, I'm worried, what would you say?
I would say that if you're in for the long haul, this is just a blip on the screen, and I don't think it's going to have any major impact.
The experts also say don't pour your money into one sector of Wall Street. Spread it all around, and this will decrease your risk. In Lower Manhattan, Dick Brennan, Fox 5 News.
And it also looks like today's sell-off is going global. The Tokyo Stock Exchange opened earlier this evening. It is down more than 2% right now.
A volunteer firefighter from New Jersey caught on tape acting inappropriately. Didn't like when we showed up with our cameras.
Not at all. And in tonight's Shame Report, Arnold Diaz exposes what this fireman and others from the same firehouse have done that has one family living in fear.
I'm Arnold Diaz from Fox 5.
Really?
Yeah. I know who you are. You know why? I got this picture of you pulling your pants down.
Wait, first shut that off. Mawa volunteer fireman Anthony Alianello wasn't so camera shy a few weeks earlier. We'll show you the video of his and his colleagues' disturbing behavior, apparently intended to send a message to the homeowners next to the firehouse.
I guess it was his way of saying, okay, you're suing us. That's what I think of you.
Dawn DeLeon and her husband are suing the town over the sounding of sirens. Not the sirens on the fire trucks, but the ones on top of the firehouses. The firehouse sirens are used to alert the volunteer firemen a call has come in so they can respond. Dawn says when they bought their home, which backs right up to the firehouse, they were unaware of the siren because it had been broken for months. The noise is deafening, she says. And the lawsuit claims these sirens are no longer necessary because the firemen now carry pagers to alert them.
22 other towns in Bergen County also do not use the sirens any longer.
But the town attorney says there are dead spots around Mahwah where the pagers don't work, and sirens also notify the public there's an emergency.
I want to have the courts figure out what's going to do with the siren, and that's it. I don't want any problems with the fire department. I need them just as much as anybody else needs them, and I respect the job that they do.
But apparently the respect is not mutual, judging by what happened recently after the De Leons installed a system of outdoor security cameras. Unbelievably, the first day that these cameras were installed around the property, one of the volunteer firefighters decided to send a video message of intimidation to the homeowners. It's June 13th. The firefighters are going through their regular Wednesday night practice drills when, you can see, some of them begin looking towards the De Leon's yard. Anthony Alianello walks over to take a closer look at the new security cameras. He alerts his colleagues, then starts making silly faces. If that had been it, there would have been no problem. But as you see, Alianello takes it a step further. With his fellow firefighters looking on, he turns around, unbuckles his belt, drops his pants, and pokes his rear end toward the camera. He then begins pulling his jeans back up, but quickly drops them again before finally zipping up and returning to the fire truck.
I was shocked. I was shocked. Never in my life would I ever expect the behavior that went on there.
Dawn De Leon is most upset that her young daughter saw the videotape.
What was your 9-year-old daughter's reaction?
Why is he doing that, Mom? And I said, you know, like I didn't know what to say at first. And then I just explained to her that he didn't realize that the camera was there and he was adjusting himself.
The De Leons showed the videotape to Mahwah's mayor, who told them he had no authority over the volunteer fire department. So they called Fox 5, and we showed up at one of the Wednesday night drills.
How you doing, guys?
The firemen recognized me from TV.
You know, I'm Arnold Diaz from Fox 5.
Really?
Yeah. I know who you are. You know why? I got this picture of you pulling your pants down.
I showed Alianello this still picture we had taken from the video.
Shut that off. No, I'm sorry, I just can't. But, you know, what's this about?
How'd you get that?
How do you think I got it? The homeowners are complaining that you're intimidating them.
No comment. You'd have to speak to the town chief.
I then showed him this other picture.
You're making this stupid face for the camera? This is not your finest moment, is it? I mean, what's this about? Are you sending them a message or something? Come on, Mr. Aniello.
But that's not all. The videotape shows a minute after dropping his trousers, Alianello returns with other firemen to peer at the cameras. They then walk along the De Leon's property line, apparently looking for more cameras. 2 hours later, in total darkness, the camera shows a group of people walking from the firehouse toward the De Leon's backyard. Someone shines a flashlight directly at their house.
My 9-year-old was in her room and she said, Mom, there's flashlights coming through the window. So I called 911. The police came. And it was the firefighter. It was about 7 or 8 firefighters. I have their names.
The official police report says the battalion chief advised they were just looking to see where the cameras were pointed and they meant no harm. He added that none of them had flashlights. No flashlights? Then what's this?
I'm frightened now because if they can come here at 11:15 with flashlights, what were they doing?
And get this, when the police questioned Anthony Alianello about dropping his pants, the report says he stated that due to a recent weight loss, he pulled his pants down to adjust his pants. I asked him about that.
You told the cops you lost weight, is that true?
The police report says he later admitted he purposely pulled his pants down because he was blowing off steam. Mr. Alianello stated that the De Leons have civil litigation against the township, which is upsetting to him. Upsetting to him? How about the 9-year-old girl who witnessed his vulgar display?
I don't want her to be afraid in her own home because that's what it's come down to.
So into our Fox 5 Hall of Shame, we induct those Mawa firefighters whose despicable conduct has an innocent family living in fear.
Shame, shame, shame.
The fire department says it's conducting an internal investigation. The De Leons have not pressed charges because they're afraid of more retaliation, and not only from the firemen. A Mawa building inspector recently paid a surprise visit to their home and cited them for 15 violations. If you've got a story you'd like us to investigate, call us at 1-877-TEL-FOX-5 or go to our website, myfoxny.com. Click on Contact Us. I'm Arnold Diaz, Fox 5 News.
And a warm and humid night out there, even looking at a couple of light showers that are in places. Fox 5 Sky Guardian is looking at those. They're generally north of town and also on eastern Long Island, but the thunderstorm threat is increasing in this forecast. I'll tell you when, still ahead.
Don't be fooled by the fans that she's got. She's just Jenny from the block. It's the New York City premiere of El Cantante. That's coming up.
Next on Fox 5 News at 10, why is this man shredding his credit cards? He ordered 2, but he got 1,000. Why he got them and what showed up on his doorstep the next day that really got him mad.
Plus, astronauts drinking more than just Tang. The shocking discovery that some of them were drunk during liftoff.
And an adoption battle. Why this man was told that he was too fat to adopt, and why he says that's ridiculous.
Those stories plus Neil Cavuto's business report next.
Fox 5 News, brought to you by Acura. Brought to you by the most trusted name in mattresses, Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
Well, those are protesters booing Michael Vick as he appeared at court now to face charges for allegedly running a dogfighting ring. The Atlanta Falcons quarterback pleaded not guilty today. Vick was released without bond and has to surrender his passport. The Falcons are waiting for the outcome to decide Vick's future with the team. Rosanna.
Well, Ernie, paying at the pump is usually a little quicker when you use a credit card. One man thought that he'd save time by signing up with the gas company, but what he got in the mail just made his life a little bit more miserable. Frank Van Buren is an accountant, so he knows a thing or two about numbers. Over the past few months, he's counted 2,000 extra ExxonMobil credit cards he says that Exxon sent to him as a result of a major miscalculation.
2,000 credit cards. I only have me and my partner.
Mr. Van Buren says he did order 2 company credit cards, one for him, one for his partner, but he says ExxonMobil, which sends out cards that are issued by Citibank, sent him a box full of 1,000 cards.
And then I realized that they were laying in the hall. They're pre-activated. Anybody could take these and start buying gas.
Mr. Van Buren says at first he thought it was funny, but then he became furious. On Monday, he says, he arrived at work to find another box full of 1,000 cards.
Exxon is a very large company, and they don't care about their customers, as far as I'm concerned. They didn't take care of me.
Exxon is telling us that it is investigating, and we'll get to the bottom of this at how it happened. Ernie.
All right, now tonight we are meeting that very unusual cat in Rhode Island that some people are calling a killer. Here's the story. Oscar can apparently predict when someone will die. Now, Oscar lives at a nursing home in Providence. We told you last night how doctors notified, and they noticed that when he curls up next to a sick elderly patient, that person usually dies within 4 hours.
He will only go and stay with patients that are about to die. He will leave rooms, for example, when patients are not close, even though we might perceive them to be close.
Now, Oscar the cat correctly predicted death 25 times, and the staff has now started calling family members once Oscar lies down next to someone. Very unusual story.
All right, hiking up fares to pay for what? Fox 5 out to get answers about what will happen to your money if you have to pay more to ride subways and buses.
And then astronauts could be getting sloppy before heading to space, where they may be spending time when you probably think they're training.
Plus, how something in your mouth could put you at risk for a sexually transmitted disease.
A major sell-off of the Dow with its second worst point drop of the year. The Your World Business Report is coming up.
In between newscasts, log on to myfoxny.com for the latest news, weather, and sports. Fox.
Many New Yorkers say they're just not buying it. They are sick of the MTA claiming it needs to raise fares on subways and buses to get the budget in shape. Sorry. Fox 5 sent Rick Fobum to get some answers.
The MTA has a history of questionable accounting. In 2002, as the agency was crying it was broke, the state comptroller actually found officials were hiding $500 million. In 2005, there was a fare hike. In 2006, surprise, hundreds of millions of additional dollars had suddenly been found. The MTA was on the fast track and in the black. Hooray! Now we're told the agency is looking at $1 billion deficit unless fares go up. So we asked New Yorkers, do you believe anything the MTA says these days?
I'm not sure if I believe any of it, but I'm not sure that do we have any choice?
I don't trust the system, and that's not good.
I'm in a private sector. I'd have to answer a lot of people if I did that.
Manhattan Borough President Scott Stringer.
Oh, nobody should believe anything the MTA says. Before we talk fare hike, we have to get out there in the community, talk about finances, opening up the books, and figuring out the direction the MTA should go in.
The MTA doesn't need us to tell it has a credibility problem. Top officials fanning out this morning, handing out the fair facts, reasons why the price increase is apparently needed. Gene Rushinoff of the Strap Hangers campaign says the MTA is telling the truth. He says the agency owes a lot of money and that the tax dollars funding it aren't always there.
Some years they do really well and they run surpluses, and some years those taxes do really poorly and they run deficits. But the real thing that's fueling their financial problems now is that they just owe a huge amount of money on the bonds that they issued and the debt they incurred to fix the subway system.
Now, given how the agency's bottom line seems to change every year, you'd think that officials wouldn't be predicting things too far into the future, but the latest plan does just that, calling for regular fare increases every 2 years indefinitely. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Rick. All right, Mayor Bloomberg's congestion pricing plan could be a step closer to happening. The state legislature has approved a plan now to keep New York City eligible for $500 million in federal funds. The bill creates a commission which will hold hearings to study the plan to impose tolls to limit traffic in Manhattan during peak hours. Rosanna.
2 insurance companies are facing millions in claims from clients in Midtown as they oversee the cleanup at the site of the steam pipe explosion. The companies say it's not in the public's best interest to allow only city agencies in Con Edison to have control over the removal of evidence. Meanwhile, Con Edison is being hit with another lawsuit. Dentist Bruce Haber, he is suing for $25 million. He says he's been forced to find temporary space to treat his clients. He hasn't been allowed in his office since last Wednesday.
A former altar boy from Long Island accused of stealing church donations faced a judge today. Matthew Belcher admitted that he stole money from St. Mary's Catholic Church because he was strung out on drugs. Surveillance cameras captured Belcher breaking the locks on 4 poor boxes at the East Islip Church last May. He faces up to a year in jail if he is convicted. Nick is here now with a few raindrops.
Yes, we have a couple out there this evening, but more really as we move down the road, and unfortunately that's going to collide with your weekend plans at some point, but not the whole weekend is a washout, as you'll see. Certainly the humidity high today. There's a shot of Times Square, and got a cloudy sky in Midtown, and the temperature is pretty on target for this time of the year. 85, 71 in the park. That's right where we should be. And again, just a sprinkle in Midtown. A couple of showers were north and then also east of the city earlier. Record high 98. Cloudy 74 now. Dew point at 69. Ooh, that's why you're starting to really feel that humidity. It's high, 85% pressure at 3008, and it is falling. Temperatures fairly uniform, mid to upper 70s, just about everywhere we go. Belmar 73, LaGuardia 77, same for Poughkeepsie, 74 into Sussex, New Jersey. And let's check out some neighborhoods. We'll look in the Bronx, 74 Parkchester, Hunts Point at 77 degrees with a cloudy sky there. East End, few light showers approaching the Hamptons, 72 now. Selden's coming in at 73. We'll look at those showers now on Fox 5 Sky Guardian 3D. A couple showers showers were even north of town earlier. A little shower in Rockland County, that's gone along. There are now a few sprinkles heading up towards northwestern Connecticut, and there's those showers offshore. But still, the bulk of the rain is off to our west. Showers and storms upstate New York back to about Pittsburgh. These are generally moving off to the north for the time being, but they'll start creeping in our direction as the humidity stays high tomorrow. And these showers and storms are with a cold front that'll be approaching. That will be for the latter part of the weekend. That front's going to be a very slow mover, so we'll have some issues with that in our forecast. All right, let's go back and look at temperatures in the northeast. And we're looking at pretty warm and humid conditions, really, all the way from New England, upper 70s there to 80 now in Washington, D.C. And it's not going to change tomorrow. Upper level system still off to our west here, so we'll continue this southerly, southwesterly airflow, warm and humid conditions. The only difference now is you're starting to see a cold front off to the north and west. That front again creeping on eastward, and eventually will bring more showers and storms over the weekend. 70s to the northern plains, 82 to Memphis, 80s down to South Florida, and the heat is on for portions of the west, although it's cooled down in the plain states. It's a hot 93 in Vegas and only 58 in San Francisco. All right, let's look at the futurecast into tomorrow. Once again, warm and humid conditions with a southerly wind, combination of sun and clouds. Maybe more cloudy for a lot of the day on Long Island with that wind off the water. And then showers and storms may threaten later on in the afternoon and the evening, certainly from the city on north and west. And then as that system comes closer to us over the weekend, again, clouds, some sun on Saturday, then showers and storms come in, and they'll really be numerous around here into Sunday. Boaters tomorrow, southeast winds about 7 to 12, 2 to 3 on the ocean, 1 on the sound. Patchy fog tonight, otherwise lots of clouds. 71 in the city, 60 suburbs. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms tomorrow at 85, cooler at the shore. And again, afternoon showers and storms Saturday, much more numerous Sunday and Monday. Could be some locally heavy rain with that, humid in the lower 80s, drying out a bit on Tuesday. Ernie and Rosanna?
Thank you. Next. Straight ahead, a new simple procedure that promises to wipe away years of sun-damaged skin.
And also this, you might think, tips the ridiculous scale why one couple was told that they're too fat to adopt.
Sure, Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony star in the real-life story of salsa legend Hector Lavoe, but these fans right here want to see the real deal. That's what I'm talking about. That's coming up.
Fox 5 News, brought to you by the new AT&T, your world, delivered.
The most powerful name in local news brings you the best political coverage. Fox 5 News.
It is double trouble for NASA tonight, beginning with the word of tipsy takeoffs for our astronauts. An aviation publication reports that at least twice, astronauts were allowed to fly drunk, despite warnings that they posed a safety risk. A panel of health experts began looking into the issue after the arrest of Lisa Nowak, who was accused of plotting to attack her rival in a NASA love triangle. Well, NASA is expected to respond to those findings sometime tomorrow. In the meantime, the agency did reveal today that a worker deliberately sabotaged a computer set to fly the International Space Station on Endeavour in 2 weeks. Rosanna.
Ernie, if you like to take breaks at work, and I know you do, well, you're not alone. A new study finds Americans are pretty good at wasting time while on the job. The Salary.com survey found, on average, an employee wastes about 1.7 hours out of an 8.5-hour workday. Well, the good news is that's down from last year, 1.8 and 2.1 in 2005. More than a third of the employees surveyed said that they spend time on the internet while at work. Ernie.
Yeah, sure.
Others talked with coworkers, Ernie, and tended to personal business.
And doing your nails at work, too. That's another thing. And I'm not talking about fingers here either. All right, today's massive sell-off on Wall Street felt by almost everyone.
And why now is the best time to get a 30-year mortgage.
Neil Cavuto has your report.
Stocks tank on new worries that housing and lending are heading into the tank. The Dow diving 311 points, the Nasdaq falling 58. Every Dow stock skidding except 3M. That includes ExxonMobil. Its shares plunging nearly 5%. The oil giant reporting a drop in quarterly profit, but it still made more than $10 billion. And Alcoa's stock riding a 9-day losing streak. The blue chip falling 7% today. It had run up quite a bit prior. And home sales and prices also dropping. The June swoon, as they're calling it, seeing prices plunging by the largest amount in 5 months. That's hitting the bottom line over at D.R. Horton. The largest U.S. home builder says that its quarterly revenue fell 31%. And you might want to lock in 30-year mortgage rates slipping to 6.69%. That is down a fraction from last week, and that's according to the folks at Freddie Mac who make those loans. That's business. I'm Neil Cavuto.
Coming up, turn back the hands of time, the new procedure that can wipe years off of your sun-baked skin.
And also a weighty issue, why a judge told one family they can't adopt a little boy even though they've adopted before.
Why is Fox 5?
A new study says tonsils may play a role in the transmission of the HIV virus. Researchers say the tonsils may serve as a passageway for the virus to enter the body. The patients you're looking at do not have HIV. The researchers found tonsils to be more susceptible to infection than the lining of the cheek or other parts of the mouth, but they're also quick to add that this doesn't mean that people at risk of HIV and AIDS should have tonsillectomies. Ernie.
All right, whether you work or play outdoors, years in the sun, of course, can take a real toll on your skin. Well, now a new treatment is being used that can turn back the hands of time. Dr. Sapna Parikh shows us how it works.
I've spent every summer for probably the past 30 summers out on the water doing boating, fishing, those sorts of activities.
Caitlin McNally has been a sun worshiper all her life, and she's paid for it.
I was getting crepey around my forehead area, my chin area, my cheeks. Lots of spots.
At 44, she also noticed the early signs of aging.
Just a general aging and sagging in my skin.
Hi, how are you? Caitlin wanted to undo some of that damage and look years younger, so she tried the Portrait PSR. It's a device that uses heated plasma nitrogen technology to help rejuvenate the skin. Cameras from the Fox Morning Show with Mike and Juliet were there when she got her treatment.
I would say that my skin has been turned back 10 or 15 years.
Dr. Doris Day, a dermatologist in Manhattan, says other treatments such as lasers, chemical peels, and dermabrasions remove the top layers of skin, which can leave you at risk for infection. The Portrait PSR is different. It works from the inside out.
With the Portrait, you actually go deeper and you leave the upper layers intact. So the skin serves as its own biological wound dressing. And as they're ready to, they're ready to be exposed, the upper layers then peel off, which is about day 3, 4, and 5. And then your beautiful new skin is exposed. The areas where I see the greatest improvements are really in the central cheeks.
The procedure takes about 30 minutes, but be prepared. It may take about a week before you want to be seen in public.
I've noticed a general tightening in my skin. A lot of the crepiness has gone and a lot of the spots.
And Dr. Day says it's not just a device that may help turn back the hands of time. The technology might also help in the fight against skin cancer.
We're actually removing some of that damage, which may make some of that pre-cancer or those cancers that were along the way, we might erase those before they even come out.
Keep in mind, this is not a facelift, and the results will vary from person to person. Dr. Day says overall the risks are minimal, but there is a small chance of scarring. And then there's the cost. The Portrait PSR starts at about $2,500. I'm Dr. Sapna Parikh, Fox 5 News.
Can you be too fat to adopt? A couple in Kansas says that's exactly why they're being turned down. They're trying to adopt the son of a family member who couldn't care for the boy. But when they filed the paperwork, a judge denied it, citing the adoptive's father's weight. He's 500 pounds.
They came right out and told us that Gary's weight was an issue.
I've been big all of my life, and my family's large, and that we've adopted once before. The same judge, and I am the same size that I was approximately 6 years ago when I adopted my other son.
Right now, the father says he is trying to lose weight. In the meantime, the couple has filed a motion for a new adoption hearing.
All right, Rosanna, some of our favorite people, J-Lo, Mark Anthony, are teaming up now on the silver screen for the first time.
And this film showcases both their acting and singing abilities.
Tony Senecal was at the premiere of El Cantante in Times Square.
Thanks, guys. Now, Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony are the poster couple for successful Latinos here in New York City, both raised by Puerto Rican parents. But according to these fans right here, I'd say the city is psyched to see El Cantante. Mark stars as Hector Lavoe, the salsa legend credited with bringing the craze to this country. The film follows his smooth moves from Puerto Rico to his tragic death in '93 from AIDS. Real-life wife Jennifer Lopez plays his leading lady, but the fans right here, they want to see the real deal. The couple arrived, as always, in style. Onlookers couldn't help but oogle the adored Lopez. But when it comes to questions, I am merely a reporter of the people. So you know what? I'm giving the fans the first chance to get up close and personal with the stars.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm from Clifton, New Jersey. I'm 10 years old, and I want to know, Mark and Jennifer, how was it working together?
Good question.
Thank you.
It was fun. It was easy. We know, when you know somebody this well and you're very comfortable with them, it's easy to just say whatever you want to say. You don't have to be polite. You just be like, hey, let's just do that again. It has a very kind of comfortable feeling to it. So we had a great time working together. Angelo, who's 10 years old.
Hi, I'm Angel Rodriguez. I'm 18 years old. I'm from the Bronx. Jennifer and Mark, I would just like to ask, how did the life of Hector Lavoe inspire you?
I mean, all the way around, I was raised with Hector Lavoe's movie, and which reminded me every day the importance of getting it right. So his music was just like almost a soundtrack to my life. So it was a big responsibility.
And last but not least,
I'm Joel. I'm Ecuador. I'm 12 years old, and I want to know how Jennifer, where you get your good looks from. I'm Anthony. You're so lucky. Got her.
She has to answer both, actually.
My mom, I guess, and my dad, who should be here tonight, and I'm the lucky one.
Thank you, guys.
Not only do you get to ask the hard-hitting questions, but now you get the chance to review El Cantante with me right here on TV. All you got to do is log on to myfoxny.com, click entertainment, and tell me why I should pick you for the next Dinner for Two movie review. All right, guys, back to you.
All right there, Tony. Well, hot in pursuit of his 500th home run, Alex Rodriguez is hoping for a little deja vu versus Jorge De La Rosa. An explanation next in sports.
This traffic tracker is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
I'm Inez Rosales with your Nissan traffic tracker in Haverstraw Route 9W, both ways at Shore Clove Road. Road work from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. More construction on the Clearview Expressway northbound and southbound. One lane will be closed under the Grand Central Parkway. Alternate side is in effect tomorrow. Tune into Good Day New York from 5 to 9 for more traffic updates.
Alex Rodriguez hit his 400th home run off Jorge De La Rosa 2 years ago when De La Rosa was pitching for the Brewers. Guess who was on the mound tonight for the Kansas City Royals with A-Rod on the brink of 500? And in the first inning, De La Rosa wasn't about to become another statistic, walking A-Rod instead. A-Rod was also hit by a pitch in this one. Bottom two, Royals touch-up Kei Igawa as Mark Grudzielanek rumored as a Mets interest. Triples to right, 4-0 Royals. Currently 6-zip Royals in the bottom seven. The Mets lost to the Pirates 8-4 this afternoon. As for Curtis Martin, he announced his retirement today. The Jets' all-time leading rusher has quietly become a surefire Hall of Famer with 14,101 career rushing yards, 4th all-time in the NFL. He and Barry Sanders are the only two backs with 10 consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Now, the always humble Martin can look at his body of work.
At the end of the day now, when I look back and say, wow, I'm 4th all time. And, we didn't even think I would play in the NFL. It's a major accomplishment, something that I'm proud of and that I appreciate.
The Fox 5 News at 10 is back right after the break.
Wow. All right, Nico, how's the weather?
All right, well, it's warm as humid tonight. Little patchy fog coming in overnight. And then tomorrow, we'll have some sun. It'll be kind of challenged on Long Island, though, because there's a lot of low clouds there for a lot of the day. But we do get to 85. Late day thunderstorms, a good bet tomorrow. Oh. And look at the weekend. Remember last weekend? That was a good weekend. This weekend, so-so. Particularly, I think Sunday's going to be the worst day. We'll have some sun Saturday morning, but afternoon showers and storms, a good bet, the high 86. And then could be some locally heavy rain here Sunday, even into Monday, as that system is slow to get out of here. So myfoxny.com for all the latest in weather. Of course, we'll update that forecast for you tomorrow.
Right. You could change your mind, too.
I very well could.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. And thank you very much for watching. I'm Ernie Anastas.
I'm Rosanna Scotto. Remember to wake up with Good Day New York starting at 5 a.m.
And join us again tomorrow night for Fox 5 News at 5, 6, and 10. Seinfeld's up next. And for all of us here, have a good night and have a good day tomorrow.
Anything else?
Closed captioning brought to you by Lex.
Was stolen without a